Alrighty, how's it going, everyone tuning in? Hey, I'm in a super sweet spot here because I'm joined by my good friend Mendy. And listen, Mendy's one of the top dogs over at MSP Geek, and they're doing this thing super soon. They got this whole event put together, first time on the rodeo here, MSP GeekCon. And hey, I'll be the first to admit, I'm gonna be super transparent. I'm one of the speakers, and I'm looking forward to the event, but got to play a little bit of devil's advocate here because I want to know what's the draw for the rest of the world, for everyone. Could you convince me, Mendy, why would I want to go to MSP GeekCon? And when is this thing? What's the logistics? And hey, give me the rundown, please.
Sure. So the first thing I'll tell you, John, is that we have a website, mspgeekcon.com. It will provide the date, time, location, and all that other logistics you're looking for. But it is happening in May. It's happening in Florida, May 2023, happening in Florida at the Rosen Plaza. And the first reason I'll tell you want to come, John, is because I'm going to be there and you want to see me. So we get to hang out.
All right,
you know?
Video's over. We're good.
MSP Geek is a nonprofit community. It's a completely free community, primarily for managed service providers and other TSPs, MSSPs, things like that. The community is formed of MSPs, obviously, but also vendors for those MSPs like Sophos and ConnectWise, Datto, and so on and so forth, Ninja. They all exist in the MSP space, and they all take part along with the MSPs in this community. The community is about 10,000 members, give or take, maybe a little bit more across different platforms. And we're spread out in Slack and Discord for real-time chat, and we've got forums. Now, we've been around for 10 years. I think this is our 10th year anniversary for the formation of the community. And we figured we need to do something big for 10 years. So we've created our first time in-person conference called MSP GeekCon. And that is what we're trying to throw. Now, as a community, we've always had a vision. We've had two important things. For the community, by the community is our number one motto. We wanted a community. It's not an official vendor-owned community of any kind. It's vendor agnostic, vendor neutral, all those other things. It's primarily tech focused or business owner focused. It's not like it wasn't originally geared for, and it doesn't generally allow for sales in the main channels of vendors. So it's not like you're going to walk in and start getting hit by vendors trying to get you to buy their stuff. The other main motto that we have is a rising tide raises all ships. Like the idea is, as a community, we help each other out and we all help each other improve. So when we were thinking what to do for a conference, we have to figure out like, what was our target that we're trying to achieve? You know, a lot of the conferences that we go to have specific sessions geared towards around the hot topics of the time because they want people to come. It's like you have topics on security, and they have people, you know, that are well-known speakers in the area that go on and talk about things like social engineering and all the other hot topics that need to be addressed or known about. But for the most part are very, I'm going to say product specific, but no, they don't always fit into a product. They're very area specific or very skill specific. We were looking for coming in and targeting a foundation or basic skill set that will translate across the board in any role. And our goal, again, was focusing on the rising tide raises all ships, is to elevate the people who come to attend the conference to be able to walk out having a clear path of moving forward in their career. What is the next step? So our target audience, and I'm going to say that very lightly, it's not a strong target, but it's our main focus almost, is tier one technicians, but it really applies to everyone. If you're a tier one technician, you're going to come in and walk out as a tier 2 or tier 3 technician. If you're a tier 2 technician, you'll walk out as a tier 3. If you're a tier 3, you'll walk out with a clear understanding of how to move beyond that. So it really targets everyone, but our goal is to be able to basically move you along progressively in your career, whatever that is, wherever stage you're in. And the way we did that was based off the skills that we're focusing on. So I don't know, I'm going to take a break and see if you have anything to say on that, John, because the next part is pretty long too.
Well, hey, you got to keep in mind, hey, I'm playing Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank and thinking, this all sounds cool, this all sounds nice and dandy, but I'm thinking of me. I'm a little bit selfish, right? I'm thinking, what can I learn and how am I going to learn it? Because I got to ask, look, I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, I want to be hands-on keyboard, I want to play with something. Are there any sort of trainings or workshops or capture the flag or activities and exercises that I can still absorb all this great content, but I don't need to be sitting at a PowerPoint presentation and checking my pulse for a talk. No shame on that, but hey, I want to see what else we got to offer here.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I actually personally am not a fan of PowerPoint presentations that just go nonstop, although I do tend to make them sometimes because it's like usually the best way to give over knowledge, even though it's bad, right? But ideally, the best kind of sessions are the ones that are interactive. And the conference is actually broken up into two types of sessions. So the first type of session is the main stage core sessions. And we've picked 6 topics to focus on achieving our goal of getting you in at whatever level you're at and getting you out on the next level up. That's the curated 6 core sessions. And then we took the remainder of the time, the second half of each day, and put out a call for speakers and said, hey, we have these 3 tracks. The 3 tracks are business process automation, the human side of tech, and secure, defend, and recover. The last thing I'm going to say about that is that if you are, because we are packing a ton of learning content into 2 days, right? We also have a game room designed by someone who's an expert in making sure people know people are decompressing. And she has designed this entire strategy in the game room that will be open most of the time. So if there's ever a point you need a break, right? We're not going to ask you for a hall pass. Just head on out, go to the game room and take a minute, you know? So that's how the conference is basically going to look from a high level overview.
That's really cool. I'm kind of seeing 2 things here because in my head, when I think of a typical traditional maybe cookie cutter, for lack of a better term, conference or event,
Yeah.
you do have this smorgasbord, if that's the right way to say it, but like a buffet assortment of, hey, speakers going in different directions, doing whatever they want, and it's a little bit willy-nilly.
Right.
But in this, for MSP GeekCon, I'm hearing like, hey, this is chef select 5-course, 7-course meal, streamlined, and that's kind of interesting to me. And I love the fact so far that you're kind of bringing in this thought. Look, we need to calm down and decompress and chill out. I think there is a certain amount of time where when you go to a, again, maybe regular road show, you get back and you're leaving it like, man, I just got beat over the head with the fact that I need to do more work. I need to get back into the trenches, get back on the grind. I'm really loving the tone and that, hey, sometimes we just need to celebrate our wins because we don't do that often enough. So let's take a moment to put our feet up and say, look at all we've already built in this community together. With that rising tide raises all ships. So, all right. I'm starting to buy in. Now I got another question, if I might. How do we continue? How do we move forward? Wait, hey, conference is over. We're going to bring this thing to a close within 2 days, right? Where does the community continue? Is that still kicking around in MSP Geek on Slack, on Discord, or how do we bridge the gap now to getting back into work?
Yeah, so I'm going to go a little away from that question first because there's a part I want to cover that kind of touches on it, and then we'll go back to the question. But in general, when you hit conferences, you end up at the end of the conference, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, is that you get back from work, and it's like, okay, I've just received a laundry list of things I need to work on, right? A laundry list of things I have a worksheet I got to go through. I got to make sure to do this every single day. I want to have a plan to implement these new agendas and meetings. I want to do new systems and processes, or I have a list of vendors I need to check out now, right? And what ends up happening is like, they're like New Year's resolutions, right? How often do you leave a conference with a worksheet of things and then go back 6 months later? How much of that worksheet has been completed, right? Yeah. So for us, like, we're not giving you processes to do. That's one of the things, right? Focusing on the 6 core sessions for a minute, we're not giving you, hey, these are things you're doing wrong. This is how you do it correctly. This is a process you do every single day. We're not giving you a worksheet or anything like that. The answer to your question, though, is absolutely like the community is not going away. We've been around for 10 years. Just go to mspgeek.org and sign up to Discord and then start talking on whatever topic you want, or just not talk and just pay attention and just sit there and you know, what's the word they say when you're just sitting there and listening? Or
like you're lurking, is that right?
Lurking. Yeah, just be a lurker, you know? Like, that's absolutely a value add to what you do. Like, the amount of stuff you can learn and pick up just from lurking is insane. So yeah, I mean, that's what I would say in terms of the next step is you get home, join the community, because, you know, you've just met a bunch of friends and you want to stay in touch with them. And then B, you can use the community to help you continue your path. And this isn't something you brought up. I'm going to go into it on a tangent.
Let's do it.
if you look at the MSP GeekCon logo, not the MSP Geek logo, but the MSP GeekCon logo, can I pull it up
Absolutely.
on? So I'm just going to zoom in on this area here and notice it's a puzzle piece, right? And
Yeah.
it's the infinity sign, and
Nice.
each one's a puzzle piece. Now, here's the thing, like the level of thought that we put into this, there are 6 pieces that make up this infinity sign. The infinity sign represents a path, a journey that's never going to end. And you guess what that path is? The journey of learning, because learning never stops, right? What's the saying, John? Something like, the more you learn, you don't know, or something like that,
Oh yeah.
right? So the path of learning is one that once you get on, it's never going to stop. There's always more to learn. It's always going to go on and on and on. So I don't know. I just wanted to share. I thought that was cool how we thought of that. It came about from a various different people collaborating, and it was like it ended in a really cool idea. I thought that was really neat.
Again, I keep trying to compare and contrast. You know, I'm looking at the product offerings and seeing what's one or what's the other, because I think too often when I go to a event like this, whether it's a conference or whatever name or branding you want to put on it, it can still feel like work. And there is a certain amount where I want that escape is not the right word, but I want just the reminder and the grounding. Like, this is what we do and why we're able to do it and how we're so successful at it. And I'm starting to see that come to life for MSP GeekCon, because the community, because hey, the mental, like, hey, let's decompress, let's celebrate, let's do the fellowship here and still hit the target, like absolutely cross the box for the exact same value without the regular norm of yet another security conference, yet another MSP IT trade show. Uh, and I think that's going to be really, really cool. And I'm super excited to see it come to life, Mendy. So, hey, look, you got me, my friend. I think I'm all in. I think I'll attend MSP GeekCon.
All right, that's awesome. I can't wait to see you there, John.
Well, hey, I can't wait to see you. And I know there's going to be a handful of other incredible folks. Just as you mentioned, hey, we got some sweet people, thought leaders in the industry, and other great people to network with and be with and keep building that community with, man, a rising tide raises all ships.
I forgot to say one last thing
It's all you.
about this. I can't believe I didn't mention it, but uh, the ticket on sale right now is the early bird
Ooh.
price. After that, prices go up. So if you're going to buy, because you're going to attend, so you should attend. So then you should go buy the ticket. You want to go buy the ticket now instead of next month when it's higher. The other last thing about that is that because we're having audience, like our audience target is a little bit different than the normal conferences that show up, right? The value that comes to the business is not about picking who the next vendor is going to be that solves your problem. It's not about finding the right business process that's going to solve the situation you're stuck in right now. The target we're going for is really the training of your talent. And what we did is, again, back on mspgeekcon.com, if you go to the PDF right next to the agenda, there is an overview doc that will explain, again, what the conference is, the value you get out of it, and ways for you, if you're a technician and you want to attend, how to pitch it to the boss. Because like, we understand how to pitch MSPGeekCon better than the people who haven't gone yet, right? So we've written up ways that you can go to that you can show the investment, the amount of investment total it'll take, including hotel and ticket and flight, with an estimate cost, and then what you get out of it and what we hope we'll see as a return, so that you can go to your boss, the owner, or whoever, and say, look, this is the conference we're going to. Read this PDF. Let me know if it sounds interesting. And then, of course, the last thing is that if your boss is still not convinced, by all means, hit me up on MSP Geek, or have them hit me up on MSP Geek. I'm happy to have a conversation with them to see if I can alleviate any of the concerns that they have, to try to get you guys in. Because listen, a rising tide raises all ships. That's really what we're going for. We're hoping to get everyone to get better, and we're hoping to support everyone, and everyone supports everyone as part of the community. And that's our goal. That's our target goal that we're trying to reach.
Oh man. All right. I'm getting fired up about it. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there. I'm going to be jumping into MSP GeekCon in May. And hey, I think, Manny, we're going to have a great time. And you and the crew, everyone putting their hand in this thing to get this off the ground, you're going to knock it out of the park. And I'm so excited. So thank you, Mendy.
Thank you, John.
And I
Thank
hope
you.
we'll get together soon, my friend.
Yeah, at MSP GeekCon.
Alrighty. Take care.